Welcome to Traveling Towards Wealth, the podcast where money meets adventure and freedom is always on the horizon. I'm Sarah Jones, financial coach, full-time traveler, houseplant lover, sourdough baker, and your guide to building a life that's as rich in experiences as it is in peace of mind. Each month, we dive into a new theme, whether it's real money stories, the ins and outs of full time travel, building a business or multiples while on the road, or finding wellness and simplicity wherever you are. Here, you'll get practical tips, honest conversations, and a gentle push to spend, save, and live according to your values, not someone else's rules. If you're ready to design a life you truly love, one where you can travel more, stress less, build financial confidence, shop safer, and wake up every day feeling like you're exactly where you're meant to be, then you're in the right place. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's start traveling towards wealth, one story at a time. Hey, friend, welcome back. Boy, I hope you're ready for today's episode. I thought it would be fun to share, maybe not. It might feel overwhelming, but intriguing, I guess I will say, to share what it takes or what we're doing, like our to-do list for getting on the road, getting ready to travel. So as of this recording, we are getting ready to get on the road. We've been here in Arizona for a while, 7 months, for a long while. Through the winter, we've had some business meetings and hanging out with JC. Our daughter lives in Tempe. So we've got to see her, see all of our friends here at the RV resort, and we are back on the road. We have business meetings, we have work camping, we have rallies to go to, so all the things. And so today I thought I would just give you a little bit of an insider's look into some of the things that we have to do in the next week and a half. And some of this has already been done over the past couple of weeks, but to be able to safely get on the road. And I'm going to be referring, so if you're watching this, you will see my eyes go off camera quite a bit because I have the to-do list that I'm going to be referring to because I do not keep it all up in my head. If you're just listening, obviously you won't see that, so that was a mute point. But to be able to get on the road, there's a lot of things that have to be done individually with each of the vehicles and then individually as ourselves, also with the cat. So I want to go over just some of those things, again, our to-do list. And during that time, I'm going to point out some of the extras, the things that have come up that we were not planning on, that we realized need to be done just through some of our walk around and maintenance and repairs. And going through the to-do list, we noticed some other things that needed to be done so we can safely get on the road. I think that's a big point to make, that we do probably more maintenance than certainly anybody that I hear about. Nobody talks about the kind of maintenance and the sheer amount of maintenance that James and I do. Let me give credit where credit is due, where James does the maintenance and the repairs. I don't hear anybody else, no other full-time RVer, talk about the sheer amount of maintenance that we do here. And we do that for several reasons. Number one, we want to be safe going down the road. Ourselves, we want to be safe. Two, we want those around us that are traveling on the same roads that we're traveling to be safe around us as well. We want to preserve our equipment and this is our home. We want it to last and be in, not only last, but be in the best possible shape that it can be in for as long as possible. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong in the RV space, that they don't take care of their rigs. That's why you see delamination happening, because there's water leaks. That's why you see them catch on fire a lot, because things haven't been properly taken care of. That's why you see slides falling out or getting off tracks, just a whole host of things. And we want to try and prevent any of those major events happening. We had a blowout last year. It was terrible. We don't want another one if we can at all try and prevent that. That's why we spend so much time on our maintenance and repair lists and take so much care when we get ready to get on the road, whether we've been sitting someplace for 7 months or we've been in a location for 3 weeks. It doesn't matter. We still go through and make sure that we are safe to be on the road. We also want to be safe while we are sitting. I think that's something that, again, people forget. Just because you're parked doesn't mean that you let go of all the maintenance and repairs. That is the time that you spend, you use that time to do a check on your rig, to check your tires, check your brakes, check the AC units, look for leaks happening on your roof, on your walls and your slides, all the things. So let me just go through the list here. And again, I've got a couple of different lists that I want to share with you. Service the AC units. So this is always nice. James has done this already once this year, but it's always really nice to blow out the AC units, get them clean. It just helps with travel. It helps feel safer. AC units catch on fire quite frequently. And so he would do this whether we were getting on the road or not, but we will be boondocking for a couple of nights, meaning we're going to be like at a rest stop or truck stop. And so we will not have plugins. And not that it really matters, but we just want to make sure that our AC units are cleaned and working well. Let's see, what's the next thing here? Oh, we just had some minor, because of where we were parked, and James needed to replace the automatic window switch in cash in the semi. He needed to glue the mirror cover back on. That was done. He wanted to check the shackles on the springs on the suspension. And let me talk a little bit about this. So he did look at the shackles. We did replace them. They're wearing really quickly and really oddly. We don't know why. Our tires are also wearing a little bit oddly. And so we suspect that maybe we need an alignment on the camper, an axle alignment. But when he was checking and replacing the shackles, he then went to repack the bearings. And when he was looking at our whole suspension kit, realized that the suspension bushings were worn out and they needed to be replaced. We replaced the suspension about 3 years ago. And what we didn't realize is the bearings in that suspension, which was a Lippert product, they are not serviceable, meaning we had to buy a new suspension. That was a lot of money that we were not planning on. Lippert has been no help in it. I'm going to start blasting their name everywhere, honestly, because why on earth would you create a suspension for an RV that has unserviceable bearings, unserviceable bushings in it, bushings? It doesn't make sense at all. You should absolutely have the critical parts and pieces inside the suspension component should be serviceable. Shackles replaced, bearings repacked and put together, also a replacement of the suspension. Very frustrating with that part. We need 2 new tires. So we had a blowout last year and we replaced that tire. But again, we've got 2 others that are just wearing not great. So we need to replace a couple of tires. The starter on the semi, we replaced that 2 years ago. It went out again. So we had a new starter that was ordered. James did get that installed and it is starting just fine. If you're taking notes, that's a lot of replacement pieces and parts in the past 3 weeks to a month, totaling 500 and some, almost $600. I'd have to look. I've got my list. I didn't pull it up here. I should have had that pulled up. But totaling, actually, I think a little over $600 of parts already purchased, and then we still have tires and some more things to do. We need to wash and polyglow the camper. We always like to wash it, especially getting on the road. It is pretty dirty. It's really dusty and dirty here in Arizona, so we want to get it all washed up and polished and looking nice. Carmen, the camper, she deserves that. There's some touch up on Benny on our car that needs to be done, some paint touch up. So we're doing that. So there's a couple of paint chips that happened, and so we don't want it to rust and chip more. So we need to finish that touch up. James wants to check the tires and the brakes on Benny as well. That's not like essential to us getting on the road right now, but we are in a location just outside of Phoenix that parts are more readily available, and we don't know what parts are going to look like in the places that we're going to be. We're going to be, I think, not in like major cities. So it's wise to do that now when you have access to parts stores. We wanted to wash and touch up some of the rhino lining on Cash. That may or may not happen. Again, there's some chipping of the rhino lining. And so we wanted to just chip it off, clean it, sand it, and re rhino line. That was a tongue twister on the bed. So he can look as sharp as possible. Power wash our tanks, the black tank and the two gray tanks. James likes to do that. We're sitting here. He hasn't power washed the tanks for a while now. So it's always nice to just get them power washed, cleaned out. So again, when we're on the road and to the next RV park, it's just something that we don't have to think about. That's always nice to do. We have been, we are pretty certain we're overweight. And that's really easy to do when you're in a fifth wheel. They're really not designed to have a lot of weight in them. And then ours, we have our washer and dryer, we have the big generator that adds in a lot of weight. And when you start to add up every little thing that you have, it's all weight. Clothes are very heavy, shoes are heavy, office equipment is heavy, pots and pans are heavy, plants are heavy. Like everything is heavy and it all adds up. And I would guess that I'm going to say probably 75% of people that are certainly living full time, driving down the road, are overweight in their campers. That's why a lot of blowouts happen. That's why there are a lot of suspension issues, axle issues, a lot of accidents happen because you are overweight. So we have been going through meticulously every room and getting rid of some stuff. I talked about that actually on a couple of past episodes of cleaning out the closet, getting rid of clothes, reorganizing things. And we need to go through the closets in the bedroom again, the clothing. I've pretty much gone through the bathroom. There's not much there. We need to go here in the office and get some of the stuff in the office here transferred actually to the semi. So we reduce weight in the fifth wheel. The semi can handle more weight, but the fifth wheel cannot. So we're going to transfer some of the weight over there. I've pretty much gone through the kitchen, but there's a few other things that I need to go through and get rid of. And the living room, I've got a couple of cupboards in the living room to go through. So once we go through that, we will determine, are we getting rid of it? Are we throwing it in the trash? Of course, we're getting rid of it, but are we throwing it in the trash? Are we taking it to Goodwill, or are we going to storage? Some stuff I'm going to take to storage, not because I actually want to keep it long term, but because I would like to try and sell it. We've got some things that are sellable, but I don't have the time before we get back on the road. So with that, we will just take it to storage, put it in storage. We already have the storage unit, so it's not costing us anything additional to store these items. We already have the storage unit. So that's on the list, is to finish cleaning out and organizing the camper and go to storage. We actually did the basement the other day, cleaned out, repacked, threw a bunch of stuff away, gave some stuff away. So that was really nice. And then we have, again, a trip to storage planned out. On one of our front jacks on the camper, I think one of the seals in the hoses that attaches to the main jack itself has cracked. And so we've got a front jack leak. It's leaking transmission fluid. So we need to fix that leak. When we had the blowout last year, we lost some fender supports, and James put some temporary ones in, but we had a guy come over and re-weld our floor and everything underneath there. And so we need to reinstall the fender support by the door. We need to get the inside of Cache cleaned out. That again, Cache is our big truck. We're not doing a ton of work on the motorcycle. We got the motorcycle loaded the other day. Vicky is our motorcycle. So we got her loaded the other day and not much more to do with her. So just a few things on Benny, the car, quite a few things to do on the camper, and a few things to do on Cache. And then just with us personally. Again, it's just about going through and cleaning up, getting rid of, reorganizing, and then mentally preparing. There is a lot of mental preparation that goes into getting on the road. When you're driving a rig the size that we have, and I would say probably everybody goes through this if they're a full-time RVer or even part-time, but certainly with full-time and as much driving down the roads that we do, there's a mental capacity to this. And really preparing yourself mentally for the trip is important. There are a lot of asshole drivers around. There's no other way to say it. So just dealing with people that cut you off, dealing with people that slam on their brakes, people that, don't use their turn signals, all the things can be really frustrating. Dealing with weather that happens, strong winds, those are always honestly terrifying for an RVer. RVs can tip over. And so when you're in strong crosswinds, it's mentally taxing, and then it's physically taxing because you're tensed up the entire time you're driving. There are not a whole lot of great roads in the United States. Roads are falling apart. There's a lot of potholes, there's dips, there's bumps, there's all the things. And so it is said that when you're driving down the road in an RV, the stuff that happens, the energy that shifts in the RV is very equivalent to, it's like a 5 on the earthquake scale. I don't know exactly what that scale is, but it's like a 5. That's a lot of damage that can happen. So the inside of your RV is literally being shaken up. So with that mental preparation is part of just knowing that the roads are going to be really rough. It's going to be rocky drive. It's going to be dicey. You anticipate having something that is broken when you open your doors again. That's never a fun feeling. Even though you anticipate it and you know it's going to happen, it's never enjoyable. So that's why the mental preparation of it. Another part of the mental preparation, certainly for me, is that I'm leaving my daughter. I won't get to see her as much until we make it back to Arizona, or if we happen to meet up while we're on the road at some point. That may or may not happen. But there's this mental, I'm leaving my baby, and that's never enjoyable. We're leaving some of our friends, and I do love Arizona. So there is this part that I will miss not being here. Doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to where we're going, but I will miss being here. And so that's some of the mental preparation that we go through. I think there's probably some other mental preparation that James goes through. I am not even going to begin to understand what that is. He does the driving. I do not. His mental load is much higher than mine is while we're actively on the road. There's a lot of mental preparation that he goes through that I don't know exactly what that looks like. And I'm probably forgetting some things. Oh, we've got to mentally prepare the cat for getting on the road. Cats traditionally don't like their environment changed. And if you've got a home and you've got a cat, when you move furniture, they freak out a bit. It's the changing of energy. And so when you're moving to a new location, the cat does have a little bit of a hard time with that. So we have to mentally prepare her for traveling down the road and going to a new location. I always talk to, and this is a joke, but not all of my plants. If you're watching, you can see one behind me there. I have to prepare them for traveling. I pack them in a certain way. I take care of them before we leave in a certain way. And they are changing environments as well. They're changing water, they're changing humidity levels, they're changing temperatures, they're changing elevation, air quality. It all affects house plants as well. And so there's a lot of prep that goes into that. for them too. That's just a little inside look at our to-do list of RV life, of getting ready to hit the road and travel to our next location. We will be at our next location for about a week, actually. Pretty short trip. We have a business conference. And then we will, after that week, head to another location. We'll be there for, I think, about 6 weeks or so. So, that, my friend, is a little inside look into like our to-do list and a little bit of what it takes to get ready to be on the road. So, I hope you will come back for the next episode and hear a little bit more about RV life and full-time travel. So, with that, I will say goodbye for now, my friend. Thanks for joining me on Traveling Towards Wealth. If today's episode sparked something in you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share this show with a fellow free spirit who's ready to design a life they love. Want to dive deeper? I'd love to connect with you. Book a free call with me to chat about your money, your dreams, and your next steps. No pressure, just a real conversation. You can find the link in the show notes or on my website. And let's stay connected on socials. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook for behind the scenes RV life, money tips, and a little gypsy spirit along the way. Remember, your money, your journey, your rules. I'll see you next Tuesday for another story and some practical steps to help you travel further towards wealth, freedom, and a life you love. Until then, keep wandering, keep growing, and keep spending on what matters most.